that is making my life, your life, but more importantly, the life of victims of crime, it's making it impossible to do things, for me to do the job I want to do, for you to have a good live stream experience, and for the family members, it makes their life a living hell. What am I talking about? Talking about the YouTubers, the bad YouTubers, the bad actors, as Scientific Skeptic calls them. And there are a lot of them, and we're going to call them out tonight.
This is just a ripe territory for unscrupulous people to come in and pander to their need to know things,
right?
And then they feed on these people's fear, and then they pretend to be a savior. So the oldest trick in the charlatans playbook is to scare people and then show up on their white horse and say, I have the cure. I'm the one that can cure your insecurity. So these things go a long way at explaining why people follow certain people over others, because first of all, they get that sense of belonging. So the other thing you can't deny about true crime is that this is a big reality show where you become part of the show, you become part of a family, and then you get to show up every night, and it's like Cheers, everybody knows who you are, defend them.
And I think this is important to bring up. It says, do you or anybody know how Chris Madonna walked away from the Michael Crow scandal smelling of roses? He has no place in the true crime world after framing a child for murder. I don't think he walked away smelling like roses.
He got sued back to the Stone Age.
Yeah, and now here's another thing that he did. When I was talking to him, he presented me with proof that he had been removed from that lawsuit, from the Michael Crow lawsuit, and he didn't. And the judge said he did nothing wrong. He did not tell me that he was reinstated as he was reinstated by another judge who said basically what he did. It was basically like a terrorist.
No, he's lying. He's talking about his summary judgment that was.
Yeah, exactly.
So I made a whole video called Chris McDonough and Doug Hutton Legal Revisionism. That video I explain exactly the tactic that they used to try to exonerate him, and then after he put up Doug Hutton to try to do it, he then put up Josh to try the same thing, but Josh tried a different tactic. So he tried to go after a lawyer who essentially Chris accused of defamation, and then that case was dropped. But Chris tried all sorts of different tactics to claim that he had been exonerated, and it was complete legal revisionism nonsense. And if you go watch my video, it explains exactly that he originally got the summary judgment in the first case, and then it was overturned on appeal.
Right.
And it was upheld by the Supreme Court of the United States. They were all found guilty of violating the civil rights of those three boys. And the judge that oversaw that case called it psychological torture and the worst case of criminal investigation that he'd ever seen.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what you're right. That's what he did with me. He said, he was removed, but he never told me that it was reversed. Correct. And he was put back, they were all put back on. Still
to this day, I don't know if he's changed it now, but he still has in the description on all his videos for information on the Michael Crow case. And he refers to the first court case.
He's talking about Josh from the lab, how Josh from the lab is always defending Chris Madonna, no matter what he says or what he does. And remember, Chris accused Nomadic Trek on Twitter. He accused him of being Brian Laundrie. He took this man that was a private citizen and ex-law enforcement, which is very ironic, pulled him into the public eye and announced that he was the most hated and most hunted man in America at the time. This guy was Brian Laundrie.
He got doxxed. They found his address. They got his telephone number. They found out the department that he worked for in the police department.
What if they would have got somebody killed? Okay. And I said, well, how are they going to do that? Nobody knows who that person is. So
John Doe pops up. It's our fault.
Yeah. Don't come at me with that. We don't even know who that person was. We don't know who that person is.
I even talked to him and said, what are you doing? This is not Brian Laundrie. What if it is? The evidence you have is stupid. It's, you know, it's fake. Somebody made it up. It means nothing. Oh no, it's him. He would not budge.
You know, Twitter is just too much drama, and I don't have time for that. So we're moving past that, and so you won't find me there any longer.
And he had thousands of death threats, and he still gets them to this very day. And McDonough never apologized, and he got his channel reduced for that, deleted for that. And Hutton and Josh died on that hill, and everything they said was wrong. Josh then said things like, well, I never heard McDonough say, you know, that it was a fact. He simply said, you know, I think it might be Brian Laundrie.
Chris just flat out refused to admit he was wrong about this innocent man, and for Josh at the lab constantly defending him and making up a bunch of lies about me.
If you do something that interferes with somebody else's work by using defamatory language, i.e., Chris is a dirty cop, well, where's your proof? Because it looks like Attridge had to shut her fat mouth for claiming that there was misconduct. She stopped. She stopped. She didn't say another word. Not one.
And then Hutton and all of the clan and Josh, they all then badmouthed Trisha and lied to her because they had to defend their king and emperor, Fish McDonough, and they were so desperate to try to somehow save face and defend him that they had to, you know, try to smear Trisha, who did nothing but recognize that she had allowed McDonough up on her stage to defame an innocent man, Jamie Wilson, and implicate him in Summer Wells' disappearance, which resulted in frickin' people doxing him, coming to his house, you know, threatening him 100 meters from his front door with his wife and family and kids, and claiming that, you know, he had Summer Wells in the house and they were coming to get him.
McDonough, I don't know how you say his last name. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the investigator guy. That's been here, and he's been to the Wells family as that. I actually, one of the nights he was here, or I thought he was in town, I made a comment on his page and offered to buy him supper if he's still in town. I don't know. I mean, I get he's got, you know, 75,000 followers on that page, and hey, I give him, he got some loyal ones. So I'm gonna get into that in a second. But he got on there and got me confused with Don's old boss, which his name is Jamie Killian, not Jamie Wilson. That's two separate names right there. And he got us confused and basically said that, you know, I was the one that, you know, I was friends with Don, and I was the one that was given the alibi. I was like his free alibi. And guys, from there, the rumors have went from that to people actually showed up at my house with guns. And I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the stuff you all have started.
This AK Rocks guy, get him out of my chat room. You know what an asshole, just another troll. Well, that AK Rocks was another victim of your man, Chris McDonough, because Chris McDonough accused him on It's a Crime on Linda's show, and Linda giggled like a little girl and didn't challenge him on any of the claims, where he again defamed an innocent person, AK Rocks, of having child porn. Because I'm McDonough, the super cop.